Warning, warning, this is not a test. Source 2 is on the horizon. I repeat, Source 2 is on the horizon.
He's kidding, it's not coming.
But map 2 is. I can guarantee you a second map. That's absolutely truthful. We've got Astralis and Team Liquid back in the server, a little delayed. Gaben's playing with our heartstrings. I kind of like it.
I don't. I hate it. I hate it so much, but I do like this. This can get my mind off things. Astralis versus Team Liquid after a meaty Vertigo. I mean, that was a map that was one of the hardest maps I feel like I've ever had to follow in terms of how much there was to talk about. There just wasn't enough time live. But now we move on to Inferno, and it's a whole new set of storylines here. Liquid trying to solve their Inferno issues. Astralis clearly going to be picking this map as a punish to Liquid's problems, and here at least Liquid an opening kill on CT side, and it's Grim and Stewie in the B side. This is another thing we've got to talk about. What have Liquid changed, and how much better will they play versus Astralis when they specifically have so much more experience versus this team?
Trial by fire for poor Grim. He's got the kit this round. 2 frag grenades between Stewie and Grim as well, so maybe if they're looking to go down on this B site, they go down with some damage.
I think Grim has like a 22 or 23 kill average in all of his maps since getting into Europe. I think it's actually that high. Something absolutely ridiculous. Frankie, can I send you on a mission?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Let's see if it's something like that. Because coming into this event, it was, I think, 22. And I think since then, he's still been doing nothing but very consistent fragging.
He's going to get mollied off the coffin. Smoke grenade goes real deep. And Stewie tries tracking a couple of players here. He's going to think about when to throw the grenade with Grim. Huge risk, actually. Both those players with their... Both those players with the frags out, and Glaive puts the shots right through. That's a call out.
100% that's a read. That was right when the bomb gets tapped. This is Liquid scared now. Astralis are pissed. Reading the situation perfectly. Double headshot, man. Let's see it.
Let's see if they can just lock on in the post plant. Zipnik's going to find himself a headshot. It's only Twist over on Coffins. They confirm it. He's going to get 3-man peeked. And if you are Stewie and Grim, you're thinking to yourself, maybe you could take down Astralis on Inferno, and Glaive has already reminded you that he is burrowed into your brain like a little worm, because that
I'm taking my jacket off.
Is nasty.
That is just ridiculous. If Astralis come into this match with this level of preparation, hopefully Liquid gave him the credence and respect to do the same thing and to go to that next level, because that's what they're going to need to be able to beat Astralis today, and you better believe they knew that Inferno was coming. That is some next level shit.
So good. Oh, it's only the first round. Somebody get me a bigger spoon. Of course, we'll have to wait to see what Liquid really have in store. Forced by this round, Naf the only player to keep some money in his pocket. Hump on Stewie 2K. Astralis slowly crawling to the top of Banana, not looking to let Liquid force their way back onto the scoreboard early.
Bit of peace and quiet before the terror ensues. An opening here for Zipix and a lean towards B. Again, this combo is what we always talk about. Grim and Stewie, best friends, playing sites together. Astralis with a brand new challenge in the form of Grim.
Device emptying up all the magazines. Elige, let's see it. He's on short shelf completely alone. First player tries to offset him by jumping into the crosshair. Glaive does die to it. And then Twist gets the shot into pit.
Go fishing.
And we are right back into the evened 3v3. Good morning, Russell.
God damn. Man, the scariest part is like, with the game. Oh, okay, Stewie, he's going to light it up a little bit too. He's got a UMP in his hands. Two players must fight. Dupree's only got a MAC 10. He is full blind.
Device coming back in around from the boiler. Stewie's Gonna be ahead of this a little bit. Grim, he gets on top of the defuse. There's no kit on the play. Grim's head completely exposed. Stewie, he was supposed to cover him, and instead, Grim gets executed. This should have been Liquid's round, but Grim's noggin, prime for the poppin'. At Astralis, take a second.
Oh, device saves right there. He'll come back into the site. I don't know if there's a better gun to get, but yeah, that is a round. They had that covered. You even have the deep diffuse here by Grim, but nobody is watching lane. And Device, I mean, he quietly steps in and sets up this headshot. That should not be possible.
Nobody's watching it.
Yeah, that's such a huge mistake. Not one you can make. What an opening from Liquid into the rounds.
Coach Lau.
Yeah.
Apologies for interrupting. I've returned from my mission.
Sure.
Where I used the calculator on my phone to conclude that 18.3 is the average.
18.3, okay.
It's taking a bit of a hit.
How many maps are we looking at?
So we're looking at from Mad Lions onwards, so 11 maps.
11 maps.
Yeah,
okay.
Mad Lions, that was 26th of November.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's still a pretty...
Good work, soldier.
Yeah, it's a pretty high average. In general, again, his first trip to Europe. And it's just gotten better and better. Definitely not the problem at all in any of the maps that we've seen so far. Maybe a bit of discomfort and some, some moves that maybe the team wouldn't have approved of, but can make up for it with some other impact and is clearly learning and developing as he goes. Well, here is an excavated B site. No one's here to sit down and wait. And now how terrified are Grim and Stu to throw these grenades immediately running out after they can't line them up well.
No. I mean, they do no damage.
Yeah, that's conditioning, right? That's what conditioning is. Look how scared they are after one round where Glaive gets in front of a smoke and spams them through it.
Now he's going to try to get at least one here inside of the construction, but Magisk is making money. And Twist, who's the only player with the armored ump this round, will find nothing for it. Astralis, 3 rounds in a row to start off this T side.
I fear a very lopsided scoreline coming in based on Astralis now looking a bit more warmed up. Definitely looked very off at first on Vertigo. But yeah, that's a game plan. There were so many things that looked so good. It was such a close match too, which is the most curious part of all. But yeah, we'll have to reset here on Inferno and take it round by round. And again, see what Liquid have brought. Because if they haven't brought anything, then why are we here? They know that Astralis are going to give them some credit and work hard to find new ways to find openings. So Stewie will go into the double op setup along with Nafly. They've been doing this quite often now. And this time it's come quite early. Strong gun to have over on the B site. But what it demands of you is knowing when to go in for more, when to take these aggressive peeks. Stewie holding on to an angle. Looks like he's going to be offered up a shot, and he'll miss it. Device takes him out. Rifle v op, leaving Grim all alone. And they know with the op here, this isn't going to be a bait, but they still don't want to run through the smoke. Elite will try to find one back. He does.
Great recovery.
Yeah.
Is it enough? Dupree comes sniffing out from Boiler. There is no commitment yet from Astralis on that B side either, but they have left Device in the corner.
Yeah, they've got him scared. They refresh Stewie's position with the op of Nafly. And one player here to sell the fake. Moto Smoke comes out. You can see the intentions for Astralis are clear. They're wrapping on the A site, but the bomb is left all the way back in spawn. That means their number 5 man isn't here to commit.
Yep.
Or they're going to grab the bomb with Dupree. He's going to come back to mid. They've got 35 seconds, enough time to get away with this, and Liquid have no idea.
They are so incredibly separated in the 2 versus 2. Let's see what Naf and Grim can deliver.
They're checking into CT spawn. 20 seconds left. No, they're coming back to A.
All right, questions now being answered, but look, Alige, he's caught in the mid-rotation. Oh, not only had Astralis fooled me, they fully fooled Team Liquid.
Was that them waiting to find out where Nafly was, and how did they know that he had rotated out? Because they immediately picked the A site. And of course, if there's 2 in B, 2 in A is the weaker site. Nafly rotated early. Grim will hit his shot. And this is the problem for Team Liquid over on Banana, is that they couldn't figure it out ever between Grim and Stewie. And it is just a really difficult part of the map, the most important part of the map, hands down, whether it's CT or T side. But their only keys to success is when they would go light on A site, when they would bring Elige over, he'd help out, they'd always score a round or two, but it was always an adjustment that came too late, and it wasn't something they could do all the time. Because the problem of playing the 3B setup early is that as soon as Astralis see that they start trying it, they're going to start exploding mid, and they're going to start taking over Arch really quickly. And that's what Liquid have to be careful about. If anybody's wondering why you wouldn't just, well, if this is what works, why don't you just do it? It's because mid becomes way too weak at that point, and this is constant gamble on information and conditioning that plays into it that's going to scare you into making those decisions.
Splitting them down the middle for a fourth one. This is a flying start for Astralis. Team Liquid just looking to get outbrained for the time being. Elige throwing the Molotov off of the skybox. Stewie with the boost misses his chance as he burns down to 44 HP. So yet again, Team Liquid not able to find an early opening.
Did that molly spread to the top of the wall, or was he over top of the molly in front of the wall that burned him?
He must
go that high.
I don't know. It looked like he was standing very far forward, but
yeah, I'm kind of surprised about that. Definitely, see, like those are the spots where you almost have to get your kill. You have a really good opportunity, and there, you know, it can be too late. But we'll see what happens. We've got top mid and banana control this early for Astralis. There is no question right now. Liquid need to make a play to get some information back somewhere.
Sitting on the back of their feet and waiting for Astralis to make their moves is not what's going to get them onto the scoreboard. So you're dead on, Mohan. They've got to find information. They've got to find a peak. They've got to find a timing. Because look at this. They just let Astralis get back further into the comfort zone. I mean, how desperate is this B-hold if it's just on Grim within Nubox and Stewie over on Dark Corner? You know these incendiaries are going to come burning you out of position, but Grim, he's actually able to hold his and Elige. While he peeks through that smoke, he finds a good bit of information. Device able to get Stewie 2K off of the op. It is Grim alone, and he manages to spray from the FAMAS. He's being pressured, and he stops the bomb. Grim back into the cover. Oh! Third kill for Grim. He's looking for the fourth, but it's Zipnik's in the clutch, and he still has 10 seconds left. He's onto the AK. Naf keeping him pinned in and pinned down. Grim goes big.
That's what they need. FAMAS 2K into a USP meltdown. 3 headshots right away. This is a pretty nasty rifle control. It's not every day that you could stop Dupree on a rampage across a site like that, and to do it with the FAMAS is a pretty big ask, but Grim delivers. And they use Elige as a martyr. He comes through the spawn. They can afford that because they've still got 2 players in the site. So not only does he get the kill, but he allows his teammates to be on full alert for the immediate rush. He gets a kill, he gets traded out, and then of course it comes down to a missed shot on the off in the back of the site, but again, Grim makes up for it. And at least we see Liquid responding to the pressure a little bit, immediately taking back to control and trusting themselves. A smoke comes down at Arch, but they've already put Naf in place to see it. And that's why the rotation was there early.
They're going to flash into Naf. Elige looks to lay down the smoke, but there's the challenge from Boiler, turned away by Twist. 3 players at the A site worked out well. We're going to watch this B site get tested yet again. Smoke being laid down from Grim. Stewie, can he deliver? Because Grim's currently smoked off, but he's using his utility to try and keep them away from this. Glaive will go down at the hands of Stewie, who then falls back into the depths of the bomb site. But here comes Astralis, wasting no time to run in. Stewie's position off of the flash. He goes for the 3rd player in from Astralis. Grim with 1 kill as he emerges through the smoke, but it's Magis putting on the hurt. Astralis, they'll find their bomb plant. We still have the 2v2.
They're coming in hot up banana, readying their nades already. It's not going to be a secret to Astralis where they're coming from, but they don't want to give them time to get set up, and the continuation flashes are perfect.
Device, though, he has their back turned, and they line up. He shaves Nap off of the play. He's got 58 health left over. We saw Twist with some sick clutches on Vertigo, but he's already got no gun out, and that is an easy pickup for Device.
Masterfully played in the 1v2. A nice round here from Astralis, making that last-minute adjustment to get into the B site, but there are a couple of flubs. Stewie coming out too wide for that next kill. Twist, I think, who's the first rotator in CT spawn, comes in an awkward moment as well while the smoke comes up, or it's a Liege, excuse me. And this is a little bit of mouse sports, okay, with what we see from Astralis. They make the fast adjustment to go B on that in-between moment where the rotation isn't quite there yet. It makes the 4-player setup, even though they lost the opening kill, just a little bit stronger.
Stewie didn't have a single multi-kill round on Vertigo, the only player to not have one.
Yeah.
It's quite mean, Elliot.
This is why I actually think it should just be an adjustment of roles. I really have a hard time talking about this team and arguing that talent is the issue. It just can't, to me, it just doesn't make sense because they stand above many other top teams with just 4 players alone. And I think that the thing is that some of their setups could maybe use adjusting. Like if we had Grim and a Liege, I feel like Grim and a Liege over on the B site, it's a better formulation, in my opinion, but what's my opinion? Anyways, we got Device to take some damage and ends up going down. Magis will trade out Twist.
A peaks are also both shut down, so it is just Stewie. No multi-kills for Stewie. That's actually a big stat to know coming into this next one, because if they are just going to be iced out and isolated on the B site round after round, Grim needs somebody else to deliver. We saw his multi-kill, Frankie. That was a huge one from Newbox.
I just don't understand why Liquid didn't make the adjustment to the bomb site after their match against Mouse, because we saw Liege towards the end of their CT half go over to B to support. Yeah. So I'm so surprised that they didn't just make the decision to go with that going forward.
Good point, but they tend to do it, I think, a little bit later, right? It's clear that they still want this to work at the start of the CT side. We're 7 rounds deep. We'll see if we get there, but I think we should.
Got a different look here. Fast cross up mid. Nafly, I don't even know if he spots one. Takes an empty shot. Doesn't hit a thing. Alish moves into position. He is a great rotator, but will he have an opponent to fight? Smoke goes up in his face. He'll run through it. Glaive will spam him down. Stewie at the bottom of mid. This is good control from the CTs.
Yeah, he's got to keep his head down, though. If he dies, then all of a sudden their evacuation plan is wide open, and he's getting pressured. Grim able to find that kill towards Arch. Sure enough, Stewie goes down. Minute on the clock, and you see Grim now. His priority is to get back over to that B site. It peels a player off of A. Twist, instead of just sulking into the bomb site, decides to get aggressive, and now that he's one step closer to Dupree, he almost gets his kill, but almost not good enough. Here comes the peek from Balkan. Twist, he turns himself around, giving cover to Nap, who only has 1 frag so far on Inferno. Still ample time for Astralis to come at this from a different angle. But the problem for them is Dupree, 12 health. I think Device is going to have to go absolutely above and beyond. And Dupree's going to try to sell this B rotation. He sees Grim. Grim sees him. Oh, they exchange. And had Device killed Twist, then that's an A plant. But now that Dupree is the last man standing, we've got Liquid with a second round.
It looked a little bit hairy, but Twist as a key play for information, walking back to mid, finds that timing. But whether or not he hits the shot, he sees one walking into halls, and he hears another. So there's a good chance for his team to be set up. And of course, Dupree with such low HP cannot contribute to this round any longer. So he's going to hop on a bike and drive into the next round. It's still like a really tough situation for Liquid, but here they find a way to get to the bottom of mid. And while Astralis are really focusing on that top hit, mid hit, Liquid do punish. So I think this is a round where they go for bottom B control early, and then it results in a big flank, but I'm not exactly sure. Either way, I think you've got to have a nice balance between really fighting hard for Banana and not. You know, here's a round where you've got full utility on the CTs, so you think you're going to expend some of it to make sure that you establish control. How much they fight is another question.
Stewie takes the boost. That should give him vision deep, but not onto Device. Molotov's going to call out the position. Glaive just flirting with the angle. Magis gives the cover. That is great damage off of the grenade. See Astralis, some of their players playing low HP. Device still trying to challenge this. Grim shaves him to 28 health. Device just kind of standing out in no man's land. for even just a moment, gives Team Liquid a good chance at softening up what is still a man advantage for the T side. And they've got the defensive players split. Grim's going to get flashed around these corners, but Device serving as an anchor here behind the logs. So if Grim continues on and doesn't clear his corners, he is dead to rights. And just like that, Astralis have options.
Oh, that's an open up right there. That's how the round changes. Like, sometimes you talk about strategy. Here is just following the frags, like, simple for them, right? Astralis so low on HP, definitely scared up until that very moment. But it looked like Liquid were scareder, even though they didn't realize how much damage they did. I guarantee you, if Liquid had seen the health bars that we see, we don't have a push like that come out so early. It was really Astralis on the back foot and Liquid offering them up an opportunity.
Nick's just going to keep applying that pressure, keep killing the members of Liquid. Last man's going to be Twist. He wants to just keep this up. I don't know if they're going to let him have it. Team Liquid about to be bottomed out economically. Astralis, good recovery. I think you're dead on, Mo. If they only knew how close these players were to death. Twist on a tear. 3 kills, 2 of which with that op, but in the end he loses it. Still taking something away from Astralis as they just gather more and more rounds.
Because you know you're going to take so much damage running into the A site, and they don't have the HP to work with, but they had to make a decision at the same time. So just smart for Astralis to think on to later in the round in case things change up. They get a lucky entry on the A, maybe they want to go back, but that rotation just, or the push down B, it felt like came so quickly. Hard-pressed to believe that Astralis would have survived a lane hit in that moment, but again, Liquid did not know, and there's not really any way they could know. However, now, Zipex is going to just fight for information quickly. He'll get a first kill, get some damage off on Grim, but it is the full save. As you mentioned, the economy on the CT side is devastated.
Yeah, they had a little bit to play with, hence why Naf's got a scout still. But check this out, wasting no time to throw Twist down the apartments, and Elige, he's going to grab their attention. This is audio for Twist, easy. Now that they have that AK, they've got a little more to work with, but Magisk finding Elige as he continued to peek, maybe looking to serve as a distraction so Twist could get back into the action with that rifle. Twist is still between the T's, but he looks away at the worst possible moment. That is a matter of timing for Glaive. Imagine if Twist is able to cheat up Banana. It's not the case. Every other kill comes through for Astralis. This T side with no sign of stopping.
They're everywhere. They're prescient. They're behind you, they're in front of you, they're waiting for you. It's the Astralis effect, really. Making it feel like they've got 6 players in a round instead of 5. That is what's really hard to deal with. But of course, it is around that Liquid took many concessions and they were looking to save. They've got everything they need now, including the single op on Naf. Stewie's not found impact opping down B, so it's maybe not even worthwhile in terms of the investment. But here, they reinforce. They've got a player in the back on top of the 2 throwing artillery down Banana, and goddamn, is it good. They get so much damage off. Magisk, he's burnt to a crisp, and Stewie is still here peeking.
Oh, but that's going to cost him. Zipnik's through the smoke, and Grim dishes damage back the other direction.
Oh.
Naf, ooh, ouch, fire hurts, and Device.
Oh, Jesus.
He bites. He's going to go ahead and keep trying to charge headstrong into this B site. Let's see if Grim can lock it down from the top of Orange. Finds the first one, a little bit sectioned off from the group. And Zipnix, because he's low HP with Device, they don't want to go charging into this, but they lose their player on the opposite side. So now, their secondary option seems shut down. Twist's just going to anchor on this A site. This should absolutely be a round for Liquid. It would take the most killer of accuracy.
I feel like Twist is playing some of the most composed CS across the 2 maps so far. Here, another round in the 3v3 where he gets the prime opening, pushes them into the bad site. Good time for Grim to shine, really. Elige can just shoot to get them to turn around, and Grim can shoot afterwards. But there's a lot that can go well here for Team Liquid.
Yeah, they heard that attempted jump up. Device does hit that headshot. Elige, he's playing a little bit scared, but he snaps it up into Zipnix. And now Device is going to have to close it, but what goes around comes around. Elige spamming smoke at the perfect time takes Liquid to a 3rd.
Well, that's something. That's definitely a little bit better here. We have a potential for a buy. I think they're going to try to put one together. There might be one player on just a Tech 9 and full nades or something. Here's the critical one, of course. Elige spots Zipic at the very final moment before that smoke blooms and saves himself and saves his team. But again, want to draw attention to Twist and his key frags in these 3v3s.
Tried to find timing on that grenade. But Dupree was already inside of the balcony room. Naf looking for his second kill of the map. Will find it, but that's all he gets. Continuation spray from Elige. 3 kills at the top of middle. Wonderful for Team Liquid. That's the kind of multi-frag potential that we need to see from these CTs, or else Astralis are going to keep gobbling up rounds where they already have 8.
Nothing more to say about this round, right? When you have a round like that from Elige, individually speaking. Well, Device, he has got a target. He wants to win this duel versus Grim, all the way in the back of the site. Will he grab it? That's the question. No, he won't. Grim will win that too. 4 alive for Team Liquid as Elige lays the smackdown. 3K spray down, holding down Arch, and Astralis come through, just a pocket strat, right? Come through with the mid-pop to see if the CTs are sleeping, but that isn't the case. Elige, he's got his eyes peeled, wide awake.
Just Glocks here for Astralis. 1 deagle on the play. And of course, it's in the hands of Device. He is having an excellent first half. 16 kills and 7 deaths. Little to lose in this one. Let's see him unleashed. If he even gets a chance. So far, Team Liquid, I think, yeah. They're using this Glock round as a chance to get back a little confidence, all right?
Absolutely.
Disrespecting their opponents.
And hey, you play a fast round like this, you don't use grenades, you don't get caught on rotations, you get some confidence as you're talking about, and you save the viewers from having to watch a slow eco round, which is never any fun. Slow Glock round at that. So they're coming back into this half, and the game does become a little bit more interesting, for sure. Of course, it's still going to be a difficult game, and Astralis have nearly met their quota already in this half. But, of course, I love to give credit to the team who wins some of the later rounds. They win on adjustments, and I think that's really nice for your confidence. And, of course, this is elimination for Liquid at DreamHack Masters if they lose this map right here. Astralis are halfway there. And I'm sure they've still got some stuff left in the bank. In the tank bank? The bank of the tank.
Maybe your bank is a literal tank.
I have a tank account.
That sounds safe. Grim, not so safe on the top of Orange. Anticipated maybe a little utility pressure, but then all of a sudden they're gone. Magisk will catch his teammate, though. Stewie. His head's been popped. And Grim sets up shop behind second Orange, just trying to play this crossfire alongside Naf, but the smoke's going to block off the CT side of it. Let's see it, Grim. He's already provided a multi-kill from this position. Device puts the fire at his feet and then hits him in the head. Naf not yet able to add anything to the tally, and once this smoke fades, he's done for. The flashbang that goes over the top is enough to get Naf back a little bit, but he needs a reload, and he's going to get chased down by Device, offering himself over. Bomb is planted in the 2v4. Team Liquid have to contemplate the save. They don't have that much money. Don't get me wrong, the buys are going to come in, but they know the chances of winning this so slim.
Let's get our attention on the minimap. You know, this is another very standard state of affairs here. Top banana control into low damage from the CTs into a B-exec, and B-execs are hard to stop. They rely on Grim to go huge from the quad, and it's a spot you can play multiple times in a half, and it doesn't mean you're a one-trick pony. It's just such a useful spot to play with the correct grenades to support. It has a lot of value. It's hard to spam, but you still, you know, eventually that player is not going to be successful sometimes, and if he's not, that can also be the round. So here's the first shot to open it up, and there's the site completely cracked open like a walnut. They'll push back into spawn, and credit to Device, he's always been there, right place, right time, at catching players off guard.
Molly goes down deep, triple grenade into Nafly. Oh my God! And Stewie, he's just trying to stretch his arms out.
That kill feed right there. That's how you wrap this half up in a nutshell. Like, that is exactly it. Just dying
instantly.
Just dying instantly. Dying without knowing what's going on. Maybe realizing what's ahead, but still losing. Like, that is symbolic.
Astralis completely smoking out Liquid at this point. Device 19 kills and 9 deaths, about to get a 20th as Elige walks right into him. How about a 21st for Twists, who has provided something to talk about for Liquid, but it's just far too little. This T side from Astralis dismantled Liquid. We knew we were going to have some struggles for Team Liquid once they hit Inferno. Vertigo was their chance to shine. Now that pain train pulls into the station. Twist in no man's land. Molly, flash, and he attempts to flash back. They are showing him nothing other than utility. And even though he tries his damnedest, it's another Astralis win. Will Liquid get eliminated in this following half? Well, join us after the break.
Down, 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 you can knock me down, but I will get up fighting, ain't no tapping out. Hit me with another, and I won't make a sound, 'cause I keep getting stronger with every single round.
Another 10-5 in the first half of this series, but it's Astralis with the edge this time around. And as they take to that CT side of Inferno, we very well could be saying sayonara to Team Liquid.
It's a different 10-5 because it's Inferno. That's the thing. And it's also not Astralis on the back foot. That's another thing. Like, Liquid will have to have so much grit here and prove so much that they haven't shown anybody. Themselves, other teams. But hey, maybe they talked about some stuff on T side. So we'll hold our breath. You know, again, some of the Liquid pistols have been so impressive. Again, because, as you mentioned, Grim, he's been such a consistent performer in rounds like these. And a little momentum can go a long way. But at this moment, it looks like Liquid are trying to punish some big flanks down mid. But Xyp9x is not in a position to go down instead of back. Magisk will spot one at the end of halls. And this is calling forward Glaive, who's moving now into position at the archway. He doesn't see any opponents at the moment. Seems like it might be on their mind. They might be trying to split on this.
Just gets aggressive. He wants to fight before they come in. Dupree from the graveyard stairs. Well, he's already got 1 kill, and he has plenty of teammates, but he just adds a little cherry on top. Elige gets his head popped. 3 frags for Dupree. That is half of his frags this map in the second pistol, because his talents were not needed when his teammates provided them on that T side.
Yeah, that's so true. Man, he has nothing. I didn't even know this was an angle that existed. Like, what happens when you push this far up against the wall, this curved wall, and he stays calm, patient, punishes mini pit, turns it into 3. That's just disgusting in a position where Liquid cannot afford to lose any more rounds.
Don't expect Astralis to start respecting their opponents.
Right. Liquid are here thinking about scoring a plant just for their money next round. Winning is probably out of the question. Good headshot to the top of Banana, but again, it's just part of the way that Astralis show they're not going to take any risks here to allow them in, and man, they have earned a lot of money off of these MP9 kills. That's 3 for Device. What's the kill count? Someone's over 20, right? Yeah, we got Device at 24 and 9 in map 2, and honestly, he didn't score many eco kills in the first map and still was the most outstanding player, it feels like, for the team.
He had some pretty stellar rounds going on in Vertigo, but nothing was going to warn us that this level of performance was coming from Device.
He kind of just sneaks into angles, quietly gets kills, an op shot here or there. He's there when you didn't expect him. Last half, he was doing it with rifles, punishing people, reloading, jumping through smokes. Always right place, right time. A hot shot. But here's another hot shot. Twist, he's been kind of brimming. It feels like just waiting for a moment where he can be really explosive and has played well in this half. Astralis are trying to focus him down, but inside of the halls, that's his own domain. He might get 1 or 2 50-50 fights on some of these rounds. And he's certainly in a position where he has the confidence to win them. Glaive alone at the bottom of Banana. This is a weakness in the setup for Astralis, but Liquid don't know about him. Will they come back here is the question. They'll call in some reinforcements. A measly MP9 from Zipix.
Also has that smoke in case Glaive needs it. They wait too long. And a late rotate into the B site could really cost them. Check this out. Zipnix, he's now leaving. Frag grenade around the corner. Device also on the MP9.
Oh, that's tricky.
They have all the information they need. Astralis on high alert that this exact hit is coming. There could be a diversion around to the B site if they all head through Arch. And that's going to test Zipnix. He does cut down Stewie. And, well, Grim gets Glaive. That was the turning point, because if Glaive's able to lock down Banana, then Team Liquid may never find their footing on this B site. But a nice pinch late. They had those players from Astralis grouped up on the A site in anticipation. And like Christmas morning for some, it's just disappointment.
Stocking full of coal.
I wish.
Frankie done Christmas shopping yet?
No.
Neither have I.
But thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
It's Christmas
Honestly,
soon?
it is a good, I mean,
It's already December.
it's been Christmas in Walmart since like October, so.
Working with you guys, it's always Christmas.
Oh, you're a sweetheart.
Man, this is a round that Astralis only had a single rifle in. They upgrade to 1 AK that they picked up off of Stewie, but it's almost a round they don't care if they lose, if that makes sense. Like, doing some damage would have been good. So overall, very clean execution from Liquid and minimal losses. That's nice, but again, the bank account is just unfazed here for Astralis, so we'll get them in full force in this coming round.
Half the round count. Let's see how deep Liquid can dig. It's not the first time they've faced adversity here on European soil, nor versus Astralis. $14 frags for Elige and Twist, 12 on Grim, 5 apiece for Stewie 2K and Nafly. Who else is going to step up to bat for Liquid? They're going to have to cool off some of the individuals of Astralis as they outbrain them. Those are two daunting tasks individually, let alone at the same time of having a 6-round lead versus you. A very bleak picture. Dare I say it, things look grim.
You may.
Stewie's gonna walk up onto Arch. Dupree lays down the smoke. Similar situation, but Dupree in his position just leans back, relaxes, and shuts them down.
Oh my god. We have to get a replay on that. That was just incredible rifle work from Dupree. Like, even an individual level, that's just not what we're seeing from Liquid right now. He doesn't have any help. He'll turn it into 4 kills, a masterclass round from Dupree. And as you pointed out, doubled his kills on the pistol. Looked like he was pretty much out of it, but because, as you said, was not even needed in that first half. And now when he is, he does show up in spades. Look at this, beautiful pre-fire on Stewie, absolutely predicting the peak, and then getting the flash from Magisk off the halls to go for the 3rd kill. They stood no chance.
Yeah, I mean, Stewie's position didn't keep Dupree pinned in enough so that when Elige walks through smoke, he doesn't have his vision back yet. You know, Elige is going through that smoke, relying on Stewie, and then both players go down.
83 years. We mentioned this earlier. The last time these two met was over a year ago. That was Forrest's last event on NIP.
The last time these teams played, nobody listening even knew what COVID was.
It's been a crazy time, yeah, and that's the reason that they haven't ever locked horns again. We're, I think, exactly 10 days off a year from the last time these two actually played. And hey, seems like not a lot's changed.
At least on that first map, it was close, as it was the last time we saw them. The second map could spell a different situation. We'll see. We shall see. They've got nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, and at least some of the tools to use. Glaive's going to be the first point of contact, eats that flashbang. Elige rounding the corner and getting into a more solid position. This immediately calls the members of Astralis over.
Oh, look how comfy they're getting. They've got the LP out, but okay, there's a kill back and forth.
Zipnik's off the new box. He's still just standing in the open. Nobody's able to punish him because Naf is incredibly blind. Oh, and Zipnik sprays into his head, takes down another. The rock in the back of the bomb site. 4 kills for him, and Astralis with 14.
Rock solid and stone cold. Zipix recovers his stat line to come into positive off of those kills, as well. And Dupree, he did the exact same thing, suddenly looking sharp as ever. As this extra man in the site with this skinny pillar to work with, an absolute force.
Listen, he's not on the top of the scoreboard of the second map, but I think Zipnik has been such a key piece of this series. Oh, and Naf, well, he's going to have some kind of an answer, but Liquid working with so little and already being toppled. They've lost a player at the top of Banana. That's Grim down for the count. AK now in the hands of Naf. Frag goes deep from Device. Stewie could technically peek wide into him. He's a little bit too tunnel visioned.
Watch him just hit this for no reason. Oh.
Device lays down the cover fire for himself. 2 more kills coming in for Astralis. They are looking to secure the 15th, and Magisk with the nade.
Dude.
It's a tough game for Stewie.
It seems like a bit of a mystery, but I mean, I would watch, you know, the back when Mel's played against them on this map, and then watch Astralis and watch the 2 ways that these like pristine CT sides just take advantage of Liquid at every single turn. Now, there is a chance, of course, doing the 1v2, but not set up for the next kill. Of course, guess who's there? It's Zipix once again. Last chance saloon here, round 22, and a storied rivalry could come to an end quickly here on Inferno with an absolute stomp, a masterclass by Astralis so far, and knock Liquid out of DreamHack Masters.
And leave them with little left to play. We saw them fall at the final hurdle last week. This would be a far worse performance. Not versus their opponents, let's be real, Astralis, they have their hands full. But they came to Europe to play Counter-Strike, play officials. IEM Global Challenge. That's what they've got left. That would be next on the docket for Team Liquid. Silver lining, maybe some time off could really let them get in the practice they need. We saw Elige in his opening interview here in Europe talking about how Team Liquid could return to the form of 2019 if they are given enough time to wipe off a bit of the rust that a prolonged stay in North America may have put on the cogs of this machine.
I genuinely believe it. Like,
as do I, yeah, for sure.
I think they totally can. They still have the tools. I really don't think that this isn't something they can't fix. But here's an answer back by Device. And again, in a round that might accumulate the whole series here, a Device looking for another follow-up trade. They don't seem to have plans to flash him, but they will out-duel him.
That's an opening as well. Glaive, that grenade could kill Elige. Stewie's going to take the brunt of the damage, and they jump right over. That audio cue for Glaive gets out a spray. Now Xyp9x is going to get boosted. Nav's going to be on full display, except for the fact that Stewie takes to the top of those backside boxes and denies him. We've got a little life out of Liquid, a little kick after Astralis throw their punches.
Yeah, they're dripping a little bit now. Not looking icy, but the drip is there. Such a steep hill to climb. And yeah, I do think that they can come back to it. I don't think much has changed. I think just, and again, with this upgrade from Grim, I think it was like, oh, maybe this is only going to be a lateral move at first. They lose so much, but they gained a lot, man. It's just such a consistent player. I don't think there can't be any more people questioning Grim at this point. He is clearly so good. They know it. They have the experience to fall back on. I do think they have gotten more balanced and a little bit better over the last few days. And as they continue to stay here, boot camp, play more matches, I do think it's totally possible that they can again get good again. But they kind of were in a position where they just could not continuously practice in the same way that other teams over here in Europe could versus such staunch competition.
They're going to have to earn and grind their way back to the top if they can get back there. Stewie 2K going to take a little bit of damage here. Xyp9x fades off. And, well, Device, he is still looking for the 30 bomb. Put a shot through that wall and you could be one step closer. Get lucky with a collateral. And he could be right on it. Now, he's not in a position to just fall into CT.
He's going to go right
back
back
a little deeper. Yeah, clearly he wants some. Got two players rounding the corner here for Liquid. Bomb kind of sitting back at the base of T-Ramp, now thrown towards the tunnel. Dupree and Magisk, they're going to be tested here on short side. Flashbang dodge by Dupree. Twist gets the one and the second and the third. He hits 14 on the scoreboard, and we're going to watch Xyp9x tested on this B site. Not even. Grim's going to walk away. Trial by fire for Grim. This is what it's like to play against the very, very best. And you know what? It's not even like he underperformed. Grim gave us some things to talk about on Vertigo, as he has his entire stint here in Europe. But Team Liquid have to go back to the drawing board. They need practice, and they need improvement, because Astralis just eliminated them from the loser's bracket of DreamHack Masters Winter.
I will be really, really sorry to say goodbye to Liquid, I have to say, gentlemen, because individually, those players look so, so on point. It's just that Astralis has got the answers. You know, they can go up against the wall of fire because they know how to prevent the attacks coming in.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of both sides of my mouth here, but I do think EG and Liquid, EG had a really rough showing right away in Europe, and I do think the same thing about them, that they have the tools and the knowledge to be able to get good enough to compete in Europe again, but they got eliminated so early over at Blast. And then for Furia, they stayed alive long enough to play enough matches to get good. So we saw them get good, even though they looked terrible at first too. And Liquid, I feel like EG would have improved faster than Liquid have at this point. But of course, now Liquid, when we look at them versus Astralis, it's a hard conversation to have. It's one of the toughest opponents they could have to face.
Well, we do need to have that conversation. So we'll be having it after this break, so do not go anywhere. Well, a disappointing performance on Monday from Astralis against Godsent raised questions about the future of this lineup. Today, those questions were well and truly answered as Astralis sent their longtime rivals Liquid packing out of the DreamHack Masters winter. And it was a classic Astralis performance. After a slow start on Vertigo, everything aligned together. We got those nade protocols. We got that fiery AK from Device as well as the AWP. We got to see both sides of Device. It was just a real refreshing watch, Launders.
I think for Astralis, it was exactly what they expected. I want to assume that Xipic's happy to be playing against Liquid again. I think it's a moment of comfort for them, which is such a storied history together where they know a lot about the two teams. And for Astralis, they improved more and they showed up and they did better than they did yesterday. Okay, that's one thing. But we go over to Liquid, there's so much more to talk about here. Liquid coming into Europe, they come in with Grim. And I, in my heart of hearts, believe that they can, as Elige mentioned, get back to Grand Slam form with Grim. He clearly, in my opinion, is an upgrade on a lot of levels to Nitro and doesn't fit in the same roles. And maybe they're missing a little bit of Nitro's calling, but we already knew for months before Nitro left that he wasn't doing much of the calling at all. It was between Stewie and Elige.
Well, hopefully we're going to get to talk to Coach Moses in a bit, but right now we're going to talk to Xipix.
Hello.
Oh, well, hello. It's been a long time since I got to speak to you. Congratulations, first of all. And second of all, I want to ask how that performance was for you personally, because it feels like you've been easing back into the server and now you've gone up against Liquid. And I'm just wondering if the fact it was Liquid, that kind of helped you become your old self again.
I think we want to show the rivalry we had the last year, and I think we showed it great in this match. At least we played really well. We didn't play that good yesterday, so I actually feel like we improved a lot since yesterday and we talked things through. So yeah, I mean, it's not often you see us and Liquid in the lower bracket, and now Liquid is out. I think that's quite spectacular.
For you, just going back, spectacular for you, yeah, naturally, of course. Why not? But for you, coming out of the break, can you talk us like everyone has an individual journey going through a break. You're taking some time off. What did you do during that time? How did you feel? Were you a little bit worried about just having to come back while everybody's been grinding the whole time, or did it not affect you at all?
I think in the start I was worried, like, I shouldn't take as long as a break because it would be hard for me to come back, but at some point, I just realized, like, yeah, I played some CS and I feel like it wasn't, you know, gone. Like the mechanics were still in me, so to say. So yeah, at some point I actually didn't think about like coming back soon. So yeah, I mean, now I feel like I'm back at my level. I started playing a lot more individually as well. So that has helped me a bit.
Well, it's nice to have you back, Xipix. You're an absolute pleasure to watch perform. And I wanted to ask, when you played Liquid today, did this feel like the same Liquid that you went head-to-head with last year, time and time again? Because you guys were the rivalry of 2019. And I'd just kind of like to get your general thoughts on this new addition to Liquid and whether it feels the same.
I think Twist tweeted that this was the first time we met them in 2020. So it's kind of weird that we haven't played them. So this can just be like kind of an off day for them. But this online era is really, I mean, people are losing left and right where they should be winning. So I don't take too much away from these games. For example, you know, you saw Complexity lose pretty heavily to Gambit yesterday. Although Gambit is a great team, it's definitely an upset, right? So yeah, so I don't really feel like it's the same Liquid. I also don't think that we are the same Astralis yet.
I want to ask what your reaction was to that veto, because we'd only seen you play this version of Vertigo with the team once, and that was actually your debut back with the roster that next. How much have you guys been grinding that map up to this point? Because it really looked like you've done a lot of work since you rejoined.
Yeah, I mean, we practiced it a lot. We didn't. We kind of expected it, but we didn't really prepare for it. So it kind of came as a surprise, actually. Although I would say that we kind of knew what they were doing because we had seen them play against Mad Lions, I think it was. So yeah, I mean, it's it's something we have worked on, and I think we are quite comfortable on it. So teams can be picking it against us if they want to.
I don't think any team wants to go on the A side against you next time you play it. Thank you so much for talking to us, Xyp9x, and it's just fantastic to have you back. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
There you go. It's so nice. It's like seeing an old friend, isn't it? Oh, are you ready to talk to Liquid? Because I feel like this is going to be a slightly more difficult interview because we're going to be talking to Moses. And I know that there are a few things you kind of want to pick his brains about in terms of positions and things.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get him on the line soon. Yeah, we've already mentioned that oh, there we go. He's here. He's here. Moses, hey, thank you so much.
Hey, buddy, is this the toxic bald you were always talking about?
This is not the toxic bald. This is a man we very much miss in green rooms because he's the only one of us who ever actually made any sense. All right, let's talk Inferno first of all, Moses, because there was an adjustment you made in your match against Mouse where you moved Elige over to B towards the end of your CT side. I'm wondering why you didn't decide to make that a longer-term change and affect, I guess, this performance, the decisions going into this match, because it clearly made a good impact last time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a play we make. I mean, he's the rotator, so if there's some pressure over at the B bomb site and they're calling him over for some support, you know, he's the next guy up. So wasn't anything permanent. I think one thing Astralis did really good against us today on both maps on their T side. Did a really good job of keeping a lot of presence and pressure across the whole map. And you know, not letting us, you know, there were just some rounds where we didn't have the information of what the end game was, and they did a really good job disguising that from us on both maps. And you know, maybe that's the cause of some of those missed rotations. I don't know. We'll find out when we review some of the demos and the VODs.
For sure, I do appreciate he is the rotator. It's just that there was a weakness in that B site hold, and you're going up against Astralis.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, our Inferno's been a bit shaky lately. You know, I think the guys did a great job yesterday of actually working on improving. We actually felt pretty decent on Inferno yesterday in some practice with some adjustments we make, and obviously that didn't bear as much fruit as we would have liked here today. Yeah, I mean, listen, we had a weakness at the B bomb site, we had a weakness at the A bomb site. You know, Astralis, you know, kind of outplayed us across the whole map on Inferno. So. Yeah, it's one of those things. Go back to the drawing board kind of situation and see what we messed up on and see where we need to improve and see what we can actually work on to make sure that doesn't happen again or minimize the amount of times that's going to happen.
I was going to ask about to lead into that, the boot camp and the stuff that we don't know about. How is the boot camp going? And when you started out coming over to Europe, CT sides looked extraordinary. T sides were failing a lot. Now it feels like there's more balanced results. Where are you guys at in terms of what you're trying to work on the most?
I mean, we're taking it kind of map by map at the moment. I think yesterday was really, you know, our first actual day of practice. So in terms of how the boot camp's going, I mean, in one sense, it kind of sucks to not make it through the Blast Showdown. Obviously, sucks to go out 0-2 in DreamHack Masters. So in that sense, the boot camp's going pretty shitty, if we're honest. But you know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the only thing you can really do is look at the silver lining of it. And, you know, on top of all the tournaments that there are and the potential to play in like 4 events down the end of the year, the other side of the coin is getting to play and practice against the European teams who are obviously a step ahead. And now we got plenty of time for that, baby.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, practice went good yesterday. I think we've been here, I don't know, this is like day 8 or something, or 8 maybe. We arrived on Tuesday of last week. And so, yeah, yesterday was the only day that we didn't have an official that we could just devote entirely to practice. Had to spend some time quarantined right at the start and away from each other until we got tested for COVID and everything. So, yeah, now we've got all of the time in the world up until the global challenge.
Just one more for me. I was just wondering, is it a fair storyline for us to talk about with NA teams coming over to Europe for some of the more upper crop competition like EG, Furia, and you guys, that over the year you guys had to fight back against building up bad habits, playing against lesser competition, or is that not much of an excuse?
Well, I mean, look, if I don't know how best to phrase this. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think there's a lot of obstacles put in our way playing in the North American region. I don't know if it's developing bad habits. I think more of it's probably lazy with habits, just because you can get away with things and you can recover from them much easier in North America. As a coach and as a member of a team, of a professional Counter-Strike team, I tend to look at them more as excuses. I think those are things that can be overcome. A lot of that comes with shifting mentality and changing the kind of way that we practice and play the game, which is not always an easy thing to do, especially when there's extended periods of time in a region that doesn't have a whole lot of strong practice partners, especially in a region that's getting less attention and less events and see orgs dropping out of. So yeah, there's a lot of obstacles, but I mean those aren't the reasons we're losing. They certainly don't help anything. But I mean if we look at this and say, man, we're really losing because of the bad habits that we got in North America, then you're obviously focusing on the wrong things because you're not looking at the Counter-Strike itself. So in that sense, we have to make sure that we keep our eye on the prize, so to speak, and not get distracted by those kinds of excuses, and not let ourselves off the hook, with those kinds of excuses. But I do think there is an element of truth and fairness, if you want to bring it up as a storyline. Just giving you my seal of approval, Anders.
So we have some content. Good.
Listen, Moses, you guys are in Europe now. You brought Grim with you. Last week, he gave us an interview and talked about how you're working pretty well with him and trying to find him his comfort zone, trying to slot him into the team. I just kind of want to know specifically your thoughts on Grim. How's he playing with the guys? How's everything going with this new addition to Liquid?
He's sick. Like he's spectacular. He's obviously another real unique talent, and kind of like a diamond in the rough over in North America. So I'm glad the guys at Liquid kind of pulled him in before I got there. So yeah, he's obviously a great player, and he obviously performed very well for us. I think this is maybe his second time in Europe. Obviously, it was funny. There was a round in Inferno at the B bomb site. Where Device just like jiggle peeked him at second oranges and just took his face off. Yeah. And from Grim's screen, you could only see Device's elbow, and he just turned around and gave me a look, and I almost wanted to be like, yeah, welcome to the pros, but wasn't the time or the place for that. So no, the guys, he's a sponge right now. I'm not, it's mostly a testament to Elige and to Stewie, probably working with him the most on actual in-game mechanics. I'm there kind of to help and support, and I give him my thoughts and everything like that. But it's the other players, it's those experienced guys who give him a lot of the tricks that they've learned, a lot of the things that they've learned, and they're passing it on. And he's just kind of absorbing everything. And it's a shame. I feel a little bit bad that he steps in at a time when Liquid's having our team is having a rough time with all the online Counter-Strike in North America. Some tough results here, but he's got a good attitude and a good head on his shoulders. So I see only positives in his future as a player, and I can't see a reason why he wouldn't be a big part going forward.
Well, it's nice to hear your thoughts on the team, bro, but I think there's also a lot of people out there who would like a little update from you yourself. So I'm going to ask, how's the new role? How do you feel with Liquid, and how have you been?
And do you miss the desk?
You mean, do you miss you?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, Moses.
No, I don't know. I don't miss it. I miss some of the people. Won't name names.
3 people, maybe.
Some of the people, not all of them. But no, I mean, listen, that's a fun lifestyle that you guys get to lead, and there's parts of it that I miss. I certainly miss having a little bit more stress-free days. Coaching. I don't think I've fully figured it out yet. I'm still kind of learning every step of the way, and also not just learning how to coach, but learning about ideas that you want to have and put in place in the future. It's also learning how the guys on the team itself, the players, kind of it's funny sometimes. I have an opinion of what's going on, and maybe I think it's one issue and the guys think it's a separate one. So I mean, it takes a lot of conversation, takes a lot of learning how they kind of handle different situations both in and out of the game, and the kind of personalities that they have. So everything's kind of been a learning experience, and it's fun. It's just a hell of a lot of stress, man.
Does it make watching winning more fun?
The first thing I realize is that I hate losing more than I enjoy winning, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But I think on some level there's a lot of motivation to simply not lose, which maybe is I don't know, maybe that'll shift. But yeah, I really do enjoy winning. That win after the Mad Lions comeback was spectacular. The loss against Mouse Sports yesterday was rough. Loss against Astralis today was rough. I don't know. This team, I think part of what makes it so difficult is this team, despite all the struggles, we're losing 16-14, 16-13 to some of these top European teams. And when your losses are for like small details, for losing out because we misplayed it 2-on-2, or maybe someone got a little bit too peaky, or maybe two players have to make a split-second decision together and they're both on a different page. Those ones hurt because you're right there, and it's like 5-6 small mistakes throughout the entire game that may not have a biggest impact at the moment, but then when you look back, you're like, oh man, he didn't have a kit here. Oh man, he got that kill a little bit late. Oh man, he overpeaked this round, and those just add up, and those just become a whole ton of daggers that just make it even worse. So I think coaching is fun. It's stressful. But I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to keep getting better at it. And with that, I'm hoping Team Liquid gets better with me.
Well, individually, Liquid looked on point today. So I think with the time you have for Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge, you're going to be absolutely on fire and one to watch. Thank you so much for talking to us, Moses, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Production are in my ear just going, okay, break it off, guys. We know you haven't seen him for a while, but we need to go to a break because when we come back, it's going to be G2 Furia and it's going to be electric.